How do? How do? Just getting everything set up. How's it going, everyone? We will be live in just a second. How is everyone? Hope we're doing okay. There we go.
On then.
I was getting push happy there.
I know I've tried about 5 times, made it fail. Proper.
Hey, mate, it happens to the best of us. Oh. How are you?
Yeah, very well, thank you. Really well. It's been a busy week for me, so it's which I enjoy. I guess it's an added bonus. But what about yourself? How are you, mate?
Yeah, same. Been a busy week with work. Last day today though, so it's been on to a nice long weekend. So can't complain too much.
No, definitely not. Yeah.
Nice. Got time off with the wife as well, so
Yeah,
happy going.
definitely. I mean, they're some of the moments that we need to cherish. Although it's a very difficult time right now. I think sometimes we need to step back and realise what's around us and sort of cherish those moments. You know what I mean? Like spending time with the wife, spending time,
Yeah.
with the kids. Well, I say kids. I've only got one, so yeah, spending time with my daughter and my wife and family and stuff. So yeah, I'm
Yeah.
doing all right though, and yeah, definitely. But,
Good. Good. So
if you want to hang on for a few more people to join, or we just get straight into it. I think we're
yeah, we'll
limited.
hang on. We'll hang on a little bit, and we'll get going in a couple of minutes. Just a little bit about, last week was supposed to be just a one-off, a bit of a special, but a lot of people, well, it was a couple of weeks ago now, but a lot of people have been in touch and asked us to do this on a regular. Me and Logan got our heads together and said, like, a monthly check-in. So, I mean, that's what we're aiming to do now, going forward.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we picked topics tonight, and we spoke about like what sort of topics we want to cover, and
Yeah,
tonight let's have a go a bit about stress and possibly if we've got enough time to talk about some insecurities or whatever somebody asks, they're more than welcome to ask me a question or ask Carl a question, and we'll answer it to the best of our ability. But
yeah, definitely.
also that sort of check as well. I think for me personally, I want to create that culture of knowing that on a monthly basis that you can come on here and openly speak about how you're feeling, and again we'll support you to the best of his abilities, and also people in the chat hopefully can reach out as well and support you as well. So
Yeah, definitely. I think it's important that people know that they don't have to interact, but they can interact. It's totally on their terms. There's no forced issue or problem. If you've got a question, ask it. If you don't feel quite confident enough to ask it, hold on till you feel a bit more confident.
yeah, definitely. And I did see a comment come in about do you then save this onto IGTV?
Yes, it goes directly onto IGTV.
Brilliant.
So as soon as we finish, it saves directly to there.
Yeah,
So it's people can catch up on it and watch at their leisure and pleasure.
watch at their pleasure. Can. Great thing you guys are doing will help out people more than they realise. I hope so, big Mike. I hope so. I hope it. It can be just that one person, but just having that monthly thing that we've talked about it just being check-in, a drop-in, whatever you want to call it, just that opportunity for you to talk and say, look, how I'm feeling, and my inbox is always open for anybody to message and get a bit of support. It might even just be that me listening, just having that chance to vent at somebody can be a bit of a lifesaver. So yeah, I think
100%.
Well, and be very beneficial for people, and not just for everybody else, myself as well. I enjoy talking, enjoy getting stuff off my chest as well, because there's always something in your week that you can have a rant about that you possibly can't do at home or at work and stuff like that. So
Yeah, definitely, man. So do you want to kickstart us with the topic of stress and how it manifests and ways we can tackle it?
Yeah, sure. Stress is one of them things that we've probably all heard about a lot. It's sort of been one of them things that we hear when we're kids. We hear when we're teenagers and adults and stuff like that. And it's one of them phrases that's quite often commonly said, if you know what I mean.
Well, that's what I was going to say. It's like a throwaway comment sometimes, isn't it? Like, I'm stressed. I'm stressed about this. I'm stressed about that. Where in reality, you're not really that stressed.
No, yeah. Like, I mean, it might just be that you've had you're just not enjoying work, or you've had too many emails to do, and I guess there's some sort of stress there in some ways. Having too many emails is quite a stressful thing, because you're bound to time frames and things like that to get these emails back and whatever it may be. But like, it can be sometimes quite a throwaway comment. We commonly see that, especially in our area, and I presume in the rest of the UK, and presume in the world as well, that that phrase that you use, a throwaway comment, is also done to other things such as depression and anxiety. Becoming a bit of a fluent word. To say that you've had you're not got Cocoa Pops this morning, before for breakfast, or come home and it's just been a bit of a tough day, and using that word depressed can sort of what's the word I'm looking for? Sort of like water it down.
Definitely.
But yeah, stress is something that I think we'll all go through at some point now. Like I said, it can be them email things. It can be quite small. It can be something quite moderate, but it can also be something quite large. And I think if we don't manage stress, it can often lead on to such things like depression and anxiety.
Yeah.
Stress is definitely manageable, and a lot of the things, and I guess a lot of the times when we think about stress, we always focus on work, and stress is not necessarily just work based. Stress can come in many different forms, whether it be at work or whether it be at home, and many different things can cause stress. So, such as financial issues, the work-life balance. It can be, it could be relationships.
I think that's a key one. The work-life balance. I think, especially in today's day and age, I think we've become totally detached between a good work-life balance.
I mean, this is a bit of an open question for yourself, Carl. But if we put it into a percentage, what would you say is a good work-life balance? Because I think this also, there's no right or wrong answer, I guess. But
I mean. I wouldn't say 50-50 because
perfect, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
I was going down. Yeah. I think sometimes we commonly think work-life balance means 50% work, 50% home.
Yeah,
but
no,
it's how you manage.
I think you've got to remember that in order to enjoy life, you have to work, but your life shouldn't then become work.
100%. Yeah, definitely.
It's a hard balance to get. I mean, I struggle with that balance. I mean, some weeks I'll have next to nothing to do, but then the next week I won't be able to fit all my work into the hours that I've been provided. So I have to spill over, and I'll be doing 14, 15-hour days.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm a good candidate for work-life balance in regards to poor work-life balance. You know, I put a lot of time and effort into work, into the training company that I run, and
Yeah,
you know what the after effects of that is also is not only I feel tired and lethargic and things like that, but that also wears off onto my daughter, onto my wife, and
yeah,
things that then can cascade from there. You know, arguments, say, or just not interacting positively with my daughter, and wanting to just lay down and relax and things like that. So, you know, it's something that I've quite easily picked out. You know, I've noticed it, maybe because I talk about it a lot. I've realised things, and I've realised that things needs to change. And, you know, it can be little things. It can be just putting your phone down as soon as you get home and turning it off.
yeah.
And I did see a comment coming in about about working from home and stuff like that. And, you know, it's difficult right now because your kitchen's your office, and your office is your kitchen, and
There's no detach from it when you're working from home.
no, not at all.
Like you can detach when you leave the office. You
Yeah,
can detach when you leave the workshop. You know, but when you're working from home, there's no detach. You know, your home is your work, and your work is your home.
yeah, 100%. You come downstairs in your pajamas or whatever. You're having your breakfast at your office desk.
Yeah,
In order to sort of maintain that good work-life balance, we need to do things like switch off at the actual right time to switch off. And you know, we have his phones. We're constantly on his phones, and my work emails are on my phone as well. And you know, I found it really important to switch off from that as well. So social media plays a massive part in our lives, and just turning your phone off or even stepping away from social media can help towards a good work-life balance. Personally, I think, you know, even on social media at work, you know, it's one of them. It just consumes his life quite often. It can cause quite a lot.
yeah.
But also,
Well, I found that because obviously I've been working from home for quite a while now, and I found that continuing with the routines that I would when I'm at work is helped a lot. You know, so I'll get up, I'll get changed, I'll get prepared, I'll make the coffee straight away. So I'm keeping the same routines as what I would when I was at work, just so I'm staying within my routine of. I, a lot of the people that I work with don't take breaks when they're working home from home, you know, which is bad. So I'm same time I'm taking that break regardless. You know, it's all about routine for me, and that's how I deal with my stress and my
yeah,
anxiety about it. Is that I need to be within the same routine, doing the same similar kind of things.
yeah. I think routine is so key. Routine is so key, and you know, I talk about my stepdad, for instance. You know, we're from Halifax or Calderdale, West Yorkshire, and he works in Manchester. So his commute to work usually takes around 40 minutes to an hour. Now, working from home, he works within a bank, and they've been working from home since March. But he still has that same routine. No, he's not going down to the train station and then turning
Yeah,
around and back up. But what he's doing is waking up at his routine time, getting ready for work, but then taking that hour or 40 minutes to sit down and read the newspaper as he would every single morning on the train.
yeah,
And like you said, routine is so key. And it plays a big role in our lives to maintain a routine. And once we have that routine, things start to fall into place. And I think we spoke about it last time, about things becoming habits and routine becoming habits. You know, after a couple
yeah,
of times doing it, it's not really a hindrance anymore. It's not really It's not really a difficult, like going to the gym, say, you go 7 days a week, or it's probably not healthy going 7 days a week and slogging yourself, but it might be once a week for 3 weeks, and then it becomes a routine that on a Wednesday night you go to the gym or you work at home or
Yeah.
whatever. So yeah,
I need to get into that routine.
well, these things come, I think you have to be ready for things as well, and the same thing for talking about as mental well-being or mental health. You need to be ready to do it. It's one of them things. Personally, me, I'm not ready to go back into the gym, although I know how good it is for our stress, it is for our work, it is for our mental well-being. I know it's really good for it, but I'm currently not ready to do that. And I focus on other things that I'm ready to do.
Yeah, definitely. I think the gym's a weird one for me. It's like, it's enjoyable when I'm there, but the build up of the gym, of going back, it stresses me out. Like the anxiety of walking through the gym doors,
Yeah,
everyone having eyes on you. I know I'm out of shape, so getting on the treadmill, picking up the weights, that's another stress in itself.
it is. Yeah, it's a massive stress, because that sort of leads on to insecurity, isn't it? I presume
Yeah,
stressed because of you're insecure about possibly your looks, your weight, your
yeah,
fit,
yeah, yeah.
whatever it is. Even insecure about lifting weights or what you can do on a treadmill. You think that people are watching to make fun, don't you? Look over and
Yeah,
be,
definitely.
that bloke's only lifting this much. So it's, I know exactly what you mean. Um, but you know, walking into the gym, I guess you could probably tell somebody a million times, but they probably think the same thing. I could tell you a million times that when you walk into that gym, no one's looking and making judgment. And I
Yeah,
guess to remember is that everybody's been in that same position of you. They're wanting to go into that gym to change a life and
that's
change,
it.
whether, to lift more weight or to become leaner or whatever it may be. But everyone has that starting point. And it's the same with our mind as well. Walking into a group, into a support group, into a chat like this where you can openly talk. No one's judging you. No one's, we're all here for the same reason, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. There was a question. Well, it wasn't so much of a question, was it more a statement? But that stress can be good for you as well. It's just learning how you manage it. And again, I also firmly believe that that's truth as well.
100%. I saw that coming myself, and I was gonna comment on it about how stress can be a good thing as well. And it's sort of like that fight or flight mode.
Yeah,
When in that fight or flight, we've probably all heard of that. But yeah, stress can be a good thing. It can be that thing that sort of, I don't want to swear to it, but kick your ass into shape. You know what I mean? Um, I personally not as much. I had this discussion the other night about the difference between anxiety and fear, and fear is something you know that it's going to happen.
yeah,
So my fear is sometimes I'm actually scared about talking on stage or whatever it may be, on live. So I
yeah,
do get fearful, and I don't want to say that I get really anxious, because I know I'm going to be all right. I know what I'm doing. Whereas anxiety is sort of like that fear of the unknown. Um, but yeah, I'm just trying to think about the stress being a good thing. In them moments of fear, and can be quite stressful, and that stress pushes me to carry on and doing what I'm doing, if you know what I mean.
yeah.
So
Well,
yeah,
I was pretty much. I'm going to use sport as mine. Like when I was playing a lot of sport, boxing, rugby, football, I used to get stressed before a game. I used to get stressed the night before, and even afterwards, I'd be stressed, like over analysing it. But that stress helped me perform in a lot better manner, because I know I'm going to analyse myself, and I know I have a certain level of expectation on myself that I need to reach.
yeah, definitely. And that comment that's just come in is absolutely spot on. Stress can definitely motivate you to achieve certain targets.
That's exactly what I was trying to say, but he said it in a lot better way.
I think we all knew what you meant, Carl. We knew, but yeah, it can be a motivator. It can be that motivator to do stuff. You know, it is stressful in many things in our. You know, we get stressed at many things in our life, and again at work, it can be a good thing. You know, if there's no stress at work, and we get complacent, we get comfortable, don't we? We sit back and we take an extra 5 minutes break or something like that, and you know, we end up then taking 10 minutes break or whatever, and it again it cycles on. But you know, that elevation of stress at work can motivate us and push us to achieve the targets that we need to achieve, the goals that we're setting, or whatever it may be. Them 10 emails that we need to push out because we have the stress boss just giving us a bit of pressure. But then obviously it can have a tipping point as well. Mental health in general, or poor mental health in general, I sort of use a similar and that's the same analogy. And I think I said it last time about the sink, but as a different way, you know, as brain's only like a sponge in it. It can only take so much before it explodes and leaks everywhere, and that can be the tipping point. We need to slow the tap down of stress. We still need it on, we still need it there and still happening in our lives, but we need to slow that tap down. And you know, there's many ways we can slow that tap down, and you know, we can do stuff like the 5 ways to well-being. I don't know if anybody's heard of the 5 ways to well-being, but it's something that we deliver, we teach, we talk about it, we train businesses up on it, and try implement the 5 ways to well-being within a workplace. And we recently did, well, I did it yesterday. I say recently, I did it yesterday to the scout, to some of the local scouts and stuff like that. And but the 5 ways to well-being can help with, it can help prevent poor mental health. It can help towards helping where our mind is. You know, it can help with stress. And the 5 ways to well-being, just give it a Google for some more information on it. But you know, the 5 ways are to connect, to give, to take notice, to keep learning, and to be active. Once we start implementing the 5 ways to well-being into our life, we tend to see a different outlook on things. You know, for example, to connect, that's to connect with friends, family members, you know, work colleagues, people around us, and really cultivate this cornerstone aspect in our lives. Our friends are our cornerstones in our lives, and I think we owe them a lot. And once you find these cornerstones, then it's worth to invest time in them people. And when you're go on, carry on, mate.
No, I'm just going to say that they become your pillars, don't they? You lean on them when you're down, when you're happy. You want to bring them along for the ride.
100%.
You know, so I think to underestimate the power of a friendship is something that shouldn't really be done.
Definitely, and you know, for example, I have a quite a large group of friends, obviously with the connections and community I have in BV and stuff like that, and connections that I have in different places. But you know, my personal group of friends, my close group of friends, and although some of them are not possibly cornerstones in my life, they're still a close group of friends. But I can pick out a handful probably out of them people that I can go to on a weekly basis if I felt like it, and I can go to them and tell them about if I'm having a dark day or whatever it may be, or I'm having a stressful time. I can reach out to them and say, look, mate, I'm a bit stressed today. Do you fancy a chat on the phone? And I like that comment. True friends are there for a good time, more importantly, the bad. And that's, you know, that can be the quote of the night for cornerstones or pillars of our friends. You know, they are there for the good times, but they're also there for the bad times as well. So invest in them. So spend time texting them, just reaching out, saying, "How are you doing today, mate?" Because as especially as blokes, we don't often do that. Do you know what I mean? We don't often just reach out randomly to them. But these cornerstones will be there in 2 months' time. You haven't spoke to them, and you message them, and it's like you spoke to them yesterday. So yeah, the 5 ways to well-being. If anyone gets an opportunity to check that out, go check it out. But it helps a lot with that stress. It helps a lot in daily life, and you don't have to be diagnosed with any form of poor mental health to start doing these 5 ways to well-being, and I bet the majority of us are actually doing them anyway, but we just don't. Sometimes we don't live in the moment, if you know what I mean. We're thinking about too much what happened yesterday, too much about tomorrow, instead of thinking about what's happening right now and what's happening to us, and taking things in, and really appreciating them things that we can see right now in front of us.
I think as well, like people, they'll say like, I'm not stressed, I'm not depressed, I'm not this, I'm not that. So I don't have to go look for help. I don't have to seek advice. It's not about being down and depressed or stressed. It's about maintaining and looking after your mental well-being before you get to them circumstances.
Definitely.
And I think a lot of people think they have to hit rock bottom before they can seek help or seek advice or change the way of thinking. But I think like sometimes it's more about doing it as of now, as you say, thinking more of in the moment, so you maintain like a good mental health.
Definitely, yeah, definitely. I was going to say about, I can probably pick out a million stories about stress in my life, and I bet everybody else can as well. There's days when for instance, other day, waking up, trying to get my daughter ready for nursery. How stressful can that be? 3-year-old, 3.5-year-old, not wanting to put on clothes, wanting to run around the house or run around the room naked and be daft and stuff like that. And you've got to try and keep that routine, haven't you? You've got to try and keep that routine of getting breakfast and keeping your child alive and getting into school on time and all this.
You sound like my wife.
Well, you dress.
For me.
So yeah, there's about a million stories that I can probably tell you and about stress in my life.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, I'm quite an angsty person, anyways. Like, so little things will set me off really, really easily when it comes to stress. I wouldn't say I necessarily get stressed, but I get a bit uptight and a bit anxious about it, and then I need to be calmed down. And I'm lucky I've got quite a supportive connection around us with my parents and the wife and that. So they're quite good at picking up on that. But I'm quite an anxious person where anything will kind of set me off. A bill will come through the door, I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake.
Yeah. One likes brown envelope though, do they come through the door?
No.
I see that. So, but yeah, we're going to talk a bit about insecurities as well.
Yeah.
Leading on from having a million about insecurities, there's probably one time in my life that really stands out for me about being insecure. And I wanted to share that with people because, if I can't tell my story, then how can I expect other people to tell their story?
Yeah.
And I don't know if my wife is still watching, to be honest. And I don't think I've ever told my wife this story, so it's a bit of a big leap for me as well. So hopefully it installs a bit of confidence in somebody else that I'm doing this and not knowing that my wife might be watching. And so my bit of a story on about insecurities goes back probably about 2.5 years ago, maybe 3 years ago. Probably 3 years ago, actually, now. But insecurities can happen in many different forms, like you said earlier about the gym, being insecure about walking into the door. Obviously, It causes quite a bit of stress, possibly a bit of anxiety about walking in because you're walking into the unknown if you've never been to the gym before. And, sorry, I'll just let my dog in because he's going mad at the door. So yeah, I was saying, it can come in many different forms. It can be insecure about your job and your ability. You might be insecure about actually keeping your job. You don't know if you've got your job or not. You could be insecure about the actual work that you're doing within your job. Am I good enough to do this job? And especially in new roles when you walk in and you've got your first day at work or whatever it is, your first week at work where you're left on your own and you're not being shadowed by somebody else. how insecure do you feel? You know, can I do this on my own, or can I? You know, I've been guided for so long.
Yeah.
Somebody else, and it can also come in relationships as well. Insecure about the relationship, and that's what happened to me. You know, on the outside, I'm the, you know, I played rugby since I was 7-year-old. I'm quite a short person, actually, to be quite honest. I was going to say big and burly, but you know, probably grow a beard just personally, you know, probably for being quite insecure about how I look, you know. I think
Well, that's why I've got mine.
yeah, you know, a beard makes us look a bit more manlier, maybe, or it might make us look, you know, feel a bit more attractive, or whatever it may be. And sometimes, you know, I probably grow my beard for that reason, but and I've probably got tattoos, you know, covered myself in tattoos as well for the same reason, you know, being trying to come across as a bit more of a manly man and stuff like that. But yeah, about 3 years ago, I became very insecure about my relationship, and
Yeah.
that many people know, and it all stems from a past relationship, a toxic relationship, and it stems from going back a couple of years prior to that, being in a like I said, a quite a toxic relationship, and inevitably I was cheated on. I was you know, they did the dirty and moved on to somebody else behind my back, and I never thought it'd have a lasting impact, to be honest. I thought, you know what, I'm all right. I'm 20 odd year old. You know, travelled the world. I've done lots of stuff. I'm a top bloke. I'm quite resilient, and I never thought it'd creep back into my life and affect me the way it did. But when this happened, this person that I was with went to university, and this is where it happened. It happened at university when they were not near me. They were you know, other side of the country.
Yeah.
And then so skipping forward, I thought all that had gone. I thought, you know, I never thought all of it. It was just a relationship, just to get over, like any other relationship. Sometimes, you know, when in the younger years, and then I met my wife. Beautiful, absolutely stunning. Obviously, if she's in chat, I'm gonna, you know, big her up. She's absolutely stunning. But me and my wife had a quick bit of a whirlwind, you know, relationship at the beginning. You know, got married pretty quick, and got pregnant very quick, and had his daughter. And then after the birth of my daughter, my wife decided she'd like to go back to university. She'd like to apply herself, and it's actually going really, really well. I'm so proud of what she's doing. But she went back to university to study what she wanted to study, and then this was the moment that it clicked. Something that I thought had disappeared in my life and never been, you know, never going to affect me again, was actually sat in the back of my mind and made me quite insecure. And all I could think about was, my wife's going to university, something's going to happen again. It's going to be the same situation that I felt like last time. You know, obviously I felt hurt, although, you know, it was a bit of a throwaway relationship, as you know, as a young lad. It, you know, it still upset me. Do you know what I mean? The day that I found out, it obviously upset me. But this little thing just obviously stayed in my mind, and it made me very insecure about my relationship, thinking that things are just going to disappear, and, you know, and then it makes you think about other things, and I guess that insecurity leads on to a bit of anxiety as well. You know, that fear of the unknown, because for me, in my head, I was thinking, right, I've got married, I've got a child now. She's gonna cheat on me. She's gonna run away with somebody else. And in turn, I'm not going to get a chance to see my daughter, and I'm going to have to be that parent that sees my child once a week or whatever. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing for anybody, but I'm just saying I don't want that. You know what I mean? So it's not a bad thing for me. You know, I mean, sorry, it is a bad thing for me, but I don't want that. So I thought them things were going to, you know, lose my house that I live in. You know, the security, it's probably going to hurt me a lot, and I'll probably lose my job, you know, because I might take a lot of time off, and all these things were going round in my head.
Yeah.
And inevitably, you know, what I wanted was I wanted someone to tell me that I were in a different predicament, you know, that in the previous relationship, I was it was just what it was. Now I've got a ring on my finger, you know, I've got a daughter, I've got a house with her, and you know, she comes home every single night to me, you know, and all these things that I'd put blinkers up to because I was so insecure about my relationship, thinking that something was going to end. And so that's my bit of a story about insecurity. And I talked about it recently on a podcast, but I don't often talk about that.
Yeah. I mean, talking about like why you had them insecurities, it's important that we talk about like old wounds, because once you start picking at them and picking at them and picking at them, it can fester into something that's ginormous.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, definitely. They can, yeah, they just like a bit like that snowball effect, you know, like an avalanche. It probably starts with just like a snowball size
Yeah,
problem,
yeah,
doesn't it? And then before you know it, it's taking out towns and villages and whatever. And it's the same in his mind. It starts off as just a little thing in the back of his mind, and then before we know it, it's taking it over and consuming our lives.
yeah.
And we need to catch it early, don't we? We need to.
100%, because as I say, they manifest into something that's uncontrollable, and once that starts, it's a long way to get back to normal, or to a bit of normality.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I mean, the way that the thing that helped me was actually I attended a thing called Andy's Man Club, and I don't know if any, you know, they're widespread across the country.
I was going to say they're doing absolutely fantastic at the minute. I know they've started an initiative in football clubs, I believe.
Yeah, so they've got a strong connection with Huddersfield Town. They've got a strong connection with Leeds and stuff like that, and it's really good at spreading that awareness because, you know, I mean, our peer support groups are for women and men.
Yeah.
And behind that, and the reason purely is that I wouldn't have attended one without my wife. And
Yeah.
I'm speaking for Doug here, and you know, he's not. I feel a bit bad because he's not in the room watching, but or taking part. But you know, we talk about it quite a lot, so I feel all right about it. But you know, Doug actually sat outside of a group for 5 weeks and not had the confidence to go in. And he's always said if he had someone with him, like his partner, to just take him in the room and sit down with him and just be like, right, it's all right, you know, you can talk about things, then he'd have gone in on that day one. And luckily, in and start talking about things, and it went really well for him.
Goes back to those pillars, those friends.
Exactly.
You know.
It created some cornerstones in that room, you know. But them cornerstones and pillars of our friends can take us to things like that. And you might have a cornerstone who's a female, you know what I mean? And that's the reason why we do women and men's groups, you know, mixed groups. But there is women's groups out there as well, and there's men's groups like Andy's Man Club, and that's the group that changed my mind. The first time I walked in, I never really thought I'd speak about anything. I thought I'd just go in and sit and listen, and I knew that was okay too, to just go sit and listen. And I knew I'd never get pressured to ask any question or answer any questions. Sorry, but that night that I walked in, all I needed was somebody to say, "You're in a different situation, Logan." And that's all I needed to change my mindset and to stop that avalanche from taking over my life. And don't get me wrong, there's days where I, you know, do have a tough day, and then bits of insecurities come back, and you know, it stems from that past relationship. Why would somebody do that to somebody else? Am I not good enough? Do you know what I mean? And them thoughts coming into my head, into my relationship now, my actual wife, you know, thinking, is it going to happen again? I'm going to go to university, see some younger blokes, and maybe actually some tall blokes, and you know, some good lookers, and you know, is it me again? Would it be me again? What was the reason behind it? Why would somebody?
Yeah. But those actions leave those questions in your head all the time, and I don't think you'll ever stop asking yourself them questions.
No, definitely not. But the difference is now that I'm able to manage that.
Yeah.
I ask that question, you know, possibly twice a year instead of it being a weekly thing or a daily thing. I ask it at different times in my life now, and I can manage the answer. I can tell myself the answer now. because I've walked into a room and I've spoken about it, and someone said, "Look, mate, no to worry about. You're in a different circumstance, different age group, different everything different." So, that's my bit of insecurity, really, a bit of my story. And if anyone's got any questions, fire them across. But I just wanted to come on and tell my story, really, and for that reason of, hopefully it gives somebody else the confidence to talk about it. There's bad experiences are toxic, and it affects the mind and likes to rear its ugly head when you think it's gone. And that's exactly what happened to me. Toxic thing went into my mind, thought it were gone, and then it reared itself back up again and creeped into my life. But just by talking about it, though, I managed to, like I said, I can manage that now, and it's something that I don't often think about.
Yeah.
Have you ever times in your life that you felt quite insecure?
Yeah, I mean, for myself, I went right through school, right through junior school, right, not right through secondary school, but till about year 9 at secondary school, of being bullied because I had a big chin, hence why I grew a beard, hide it, disguise it, whatever you want. I wouldn't say I was tortured, but I was terrorized a bit, and because at the time I was doing a lot of boxing, and that my only way to get round that feeling and kind of protect myself was to fight. So I got myself into a lot of trouble. I was constantly excluded from schools, getting kicked out. So.
And I guess what that did for you was it created a bit of a monster that you didn't want to be. But 100%. What that did, it made them people that would maybe bully you if you felt like they would. They probably wouldn't do it because they knew that Carl would just knock them out or whatever.
Yeah, 100%.
And I guess that's the mask, innit? That's wearing a mask. A mask can come in many different forms. It can come in hiding as feelings or hiding emotion. It can come in the way that you're saying, a bit like a beard, wearing a mask. We put a mask on, don't we? And so we feel like a different person. I'm not saying shave your beard, mate.
Well, I mean, what I'm saying is that it needs a trim, but yeah, definitely. I think, as I say, my way of dealing with it was through acts of violence and that, which is never a great way to deal with anything. But now I've matured, I've grown up a bit, and now to deal with things a little bit more. I've got a beautiful wife, I've got the things I wanted in life, so why should something like that be bothering us? I mean, now, I'm a fully grown man now, so when you look at it in hindsight, it sticks in stones, you know what I mean? But when you're growing up, it's a total different animal altogether.
It is definitely, yeah. It is definitely. There has been other occasions in my life when I've been quite insecure, and the thing is that them insecurities have faded and never cropped up again, and I can honestly say that they're not even ingrained in my mind. I can speak.
Yeah.
It doesn't take me back and I feel bad about it. Up until the age of 13, I had long hair down to the middle of my back, and I felt I wanted that, but it also made me quite insecure because I thought, people are just going to call me a girl all the time. And that's, the same thing about bullying, I did get bullied quite often, called a girl by the older kids or whatever. And instead of growing a beard, I cut my hair, I cut the identity that I wanted to be. I wanted to be a cool rocker. And back in the day, I used to be called a mosher, but, it's we have these insecurities in our lives, and the thing is, I guess the main objective is to know that it's okay to feel insecure. But we need to stop that avalanche, don't we? Like you said, or stop that snowball effect from happening where it consumes our lives.
Yeah, definitely. I think, as you say, I think as you get older, I think you mentally mature a bit more. you kind of know what's right and what's wrong, but you kind of wear them insecurities is a bit of an armor as well, you know. So
Definitely.
if I'm feeling a bit insecure about what I was bullied about, I'll make a joke of it before anyone else does.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah,
So it's like beating people to the punch. So you can't hurt us because I've already said it.
yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah. I mean, I don't know how you'd apply that into a gym setting and just walk in and go, "Look at
This
me."
is
But
this is well. I mean, I don't want to go back into the aggression route in the gym, but
but you know, if someone is wanting to talk about it, the bonus is, even though we're in lockdown, is we can still hold these sort of groups. So groups like ourselves, like Unmasked, we have groups available that might not be available in your area, but you know, we have the app available as well. So you know, you can download the app and check that out. And it's just that peer support, but you get to remain anonymous until you. You know, groups like Andy's Man Club, they're, you know, up and around, thriving up and down the country, that you can attend. It is scary to walk in that door, but that once you've got in, you know, it's like, you know, you feel at home. You feel absolutely fine. And for any women watching, there's a group called the Women's Wellbeing Club, that are sort of associated with Andy's Man Club. They work hand in hand, and you'll often quite find that wherever a Andy's Man Club is open, a Women's Wellbeing Club is opened as well, and that's sort of similar to what we're trying to achieve too, is in cohesion with these organisations to get something there for different nights. You know, our groups are run on a Thursday, but Andy's Man Club is run on a Monday. Women's Wellbeing Club is on a Wednesday. So to create something where the people can go every single night if they feel like they need to. But I would highly suggest anybody, even if you've not been diagnosed with depression or anxiety or diagnosed with severe stress or anything like that, it's just day-to-day life struggles, really. We all have day-to-day life struggles, and I would highly suggest talking about it. It's, to me, talking is the best medication out there. And, you know, there'll be people that differ and stuff like that, but you know, one of our rules within our groups is we don't talk about medication, because what works for you might not work for me, and I'm not a doctor, so I can't say take 50 milligrams of this or 20 milligrams of that. So we don't talk about medication, but for me, the best medication is talking.
talking. I was just about to say that.
Yeah.
I think. I mean, I've been on the antidepressants before when I was younger. For me personally, I didn't find the help. I didn't feel any benefit from them. I felt it shook the life out of us a little bit. I became like a bit of a walking zombie. But talking about what was up with us helped me a lot more. And I took myself off the tablets, which I wouldn't recommend anyone doing.
No, yeah, I mean, it's the doctors, it's the GP's game, is that, you know, to regulate things and whatever.
Yeah,
You know, if you are taking medication and you're thinking about coming off medication because you feel like you're in a better place, I'd definitely recommend going to speak to your doctor, your GP,
yeah,
whoever it may be that's giving you that medication.
yeah. I would definitely get the advice before you just do something.
Yeah, because I guess quite often you sort of get weaned off stuff like that. You know, lower dose, lower dose, lower dose, and then
Yeah,
you're where you want to be. But in life, things take time, you know, and often it doesn't just happen overnight. And it's the same with lots of different stuff in our lives, like medication, but mental health, or poor mental health, we'll say. I keep saying mental health, but we all have mental health, you know. We have good mental health.
yeah. But it again, it goes back to what we were saying. You know, you don't have to have an illness or a condition, you know, to take steps towards having a better mental state and mental health.
Yeah,
So, you know, just look at things, you know, take advice from things, and control it before it manifests into something a lot
100%.
bigger and a lot deeper.
Definitely, yeah. I just seen a comment coming saying, and tell a friend. Definitely tell a friend. You know, we men need to talk to each other, and I 100% agree with that.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I think what we've both got, or what I've created, you know, honestly, I'm overwhelmed with the amount of response and support that I get for it. And I think this is going to be great. This thing that we're creating here at Lakeside, and you know, and teaming up with Unmasked to give people an opportunity to talk and open up and gain support and things like that. Because what you'll find is, you know, you hold back because you think you're going to get judged, or you think that, you know, you're going to be a burden on someone. And I can tell you now, if someone put in the comment section now, I don't feel really good. You know, I'm at a really low point in my life, and I don't feel like being here anymore. The amount of response that had come to that person from that one comment would be astronomical. You know what I mean? There'd be people messaging you left, right, and centre, and you know, I reach out to you and we talk about things. So never be scared to open up. It is a scary thing. I know it is a scary thing, but never be scared to open up, because there's people like myself, Carl, and the people that you think won't listen will be there to listen. So if a bit of advice would be to just open talking.
Definitely. We're edging closer towards the hour, so before we cut out, we'll end it. So we'll be back. We're going to try and aim for the first Thursday in every month.
That's what you said, mate.
Yeah, I think we're a bit later with this one. I think with the last one being so close, but the next one, what's going to happen is we've got a lad in the chapter that wants to get involved in it, and I think it'll be good to see other people's perspectives as well, not just mine. So Big Mike, he's going to jump on it next week with you. We'll discuss some topics with each other, and he'll discuss it. I'll come on the following week, and if anyone else in the chapter wants to discuss, I'll come on. We'll do that. Just gives everyone a bit of a chance to talk about their situation and
definitely
whatnot.
So just before we do go, because it's at 52, I think we get an hour, don't we? So we've got a couple of minutes there. But what we do in our groups, basically, we ask 5 questions, and these questions change every week. There's only 2 of them that stay the same, number 1 and number 3. And is there any, you know, how's your week been, and is there anything you'd like to unmask? I think we've talked a bit about tonight, and you know what I want to do at the end of each one of these is ask a question that gives a bit of a smile. Do you know what I mean? It can be something really close to your heart, talking about how we're feeling. Do you know what I mean? It can be quite emotional. It can be quite relieving at the same time. Well, it is relieving at the same time. But it's we always do it in the group and finish off with something quite jovial. So, or jovial, or just something to put a smile on our face. I ask you and everybody in the chat if you can possibly comment. That would be great. But what's positive of your week this week so far, mate?
Positive of my week. Another step closer to owning our house outright is another step closer.
Yeah.
More solicitor paperwork getting done, more surveyors being sorted, you know, so another step closer. And that's my positive. Oh, mate. It makes us feel like I'm actually becoming a grown up, mate.
Yeah.
I don't know if I like that bit though.
Yeah. At the same time, becoming a grown up, can't it?
That's it, mate. But no, it's just nice to see the wife smiling, see me smiling a bit. You know, when you think about it, you know, so it's a nice place to be.
Yeah.
Hopefully, definitely. By the time I next speak to you, we'll be another step closer.
Good stuff. Now, if you're having a difficult time at all for the rest of the week, I mean, we've still got another 4 days to go, haven't we? Just try to think about that moment that you've just talked about and get a smile back on your face. And that goes in the chat as well, that's putting these comments like Brad managed to help some patients through COVID, made my week. I bet that is such a good sense of joy. Helping someone, you know, is something that I'm very, very fortunate to experience on a daily basis, and it never gets weaker, if you know what I mean. That sense of helping someone if anything, it gets greater every single time. So well done for you on that one, mate. What else have we got? Started to learn sign language. Winner. Although we sometimes hated school and stuff like that, when we stimulate our brain, like learning, especially when we're adults, it can create that good endorphin in there, and we take them little sense of achievement. So like doing sign language and stuff, managing to do one word in sign language for me would be a massive pat on my back. So you know, I know how to say some little things. My wife's a level 6 at sign. She's you know, taught our daughter a few little bits and bats here and there. So good on you for learning to do sign, mate. That's awesome news. And being halfway through this week's step count, love having a goal, and congratulations on getting halfway through. A few more days to go, in there. Get them in, get stepping, walking up and down them steps. Even in your house, get up and down steps. But having goals to achieve massively in our minds. So doing something is a good one for our mind. Getting invited to attend the Euro Powerlifting Championship to represent.
That's a huge achievement.
That's a shit hot answer, is that, innit?
Shit's on mine.
Brilliant. 2 of my kids winning awards from school for learning. Congratulations on that, and you know, give them a handshake from me as well if you could. That's absolutely awesome. It's so good to see them loved ones, you know, whether it's your children or cousins or nieces and nephews or whoever it is. See them achieving things, it puts a massive smile on our faces.
Yeah, definitely, man.
Positive my week was getting Employee of the Month. Nice one. I've never been an Employee of the Month. I might make myself one tomorrow. That's awesome, though. That's really good, mate. Well done. Managing to get out of this country, get out into the countryside, some self-reflection. So important that we do that self-reflection, but getting out into the countryside, how good does that fresh air feel? Absolutely awesome, mate. And being another week closer to being able to meet up with my brothers and having a hug, a beer, and a right laugh. Good on you, mate. Good on you. Things like that can go such a long way, can't they? Just little things like that.
But even reading through them manages to uplift you a bit, you know, to see how everyone else is doing, knowing that they're in a good place.
Yeah,
it's
definitely.
Uplifting, man.
100%. I mean, I generally feel like I'm quite a joyful person anyway, but just reading through them made me step up another gear to
100%.
So that's why we ask these sort of questions, because we can self-reflect, just like we've seen in one of the comments there about self-reflection. You know, we can look back on these things when we're having a tough day on Saturday, if Saturday is the day that we have tough days, and we can think, you know what, that mortgage is getting paid off soon. How good does that?
Yeah, definitely, man.
I can see my brothers, I can see my kids growing up and succeeding, and I've learned something. So something like this is so good. But what's that last? We're getting pretty close to
yeah. But so last one.
This is my first time listening to the chat, and hearing you both open up makes me feel less vulnerable and normalising positive mental health. That is exactly what we aim to do. So keep tuning in, you know, keep listening on that monthly basis, and we'll keep doing it. So had a shit week, to be honest, but picking a positive out of it is a really good thing, and all good stuff. Makes me feel good hearing about others. So spot on. But we'll end it there, mate, because I don't want
to
saying it, but I hope everyone stays happy. I hope everyone stays healthy, and together let's unmask that stigma of mental health. Take care, guys, and love you all.
Till next time, people. Catch you later, mate.
See you in a bit, mate.